Welcome back, everybody, to Ravenstar's Witching Hour. I am your host, Solaris BlueRaven, and that was R.D. Six Killer Clark. She's awesome, and I encourage everybody to pick up a copy of her book if you haven't already. She's phenomenal, nice woman. She can only stay the hour. She doesn't like staying 2 hours, and that's fine. Second hour, I really don't have a guest lined up, so what I'm going to do is just communicate a few things here and there, and we'll just play it by ear. But honestly, there's so much to talk about, and I get so burned out insofar as what's happening on the timeline because of all this craziness that's happening with these weirdos out there protesting against Trump. That's just infuriating everybody. Too much mainstream propaganda fuming that, and of course Soros is behind it, of course, and a lot of other people in the Clinton administration and D.C. So really, what we're seeing is a sabotage and just an immature attitude towards something that they shouldn't even be addressing, quite honestly. I'm kind of insulted, actually, to see that there are so many people that are so stupid that will be out there and rioting under those circumstances and acting like imbeciles and being violent. I just draw the line when things like that start to happen. That's not appropriate behavior. And what I guess what really bothers me the most is that you have people that are supposedly in school and college, and that's the best they can do, and that's the kind of behavior they have. And they're calling them snowflakes, which I think is really good because they're kind of like coddled. And I mean, honestly, they just melt. I mean, these people have no backbone. They have where are they coming from? I have to ask myself, they're not Americans. Real American blood, real American backbone doesn't act that way, quite honestly. So it really kind of offends me. I'm sure a lot of you out there who support Trump or support freedom at the highest level would really just be offended by that kind of behavior. I certainly am. And I would say that if it doesn't get under control, because I know it's being escalated by DC, that they need to do something about it to put an end to it because it's got to stop. From what I understand, they had traffic obstruction, and they're jumping on cars, they're beating people up. They actually beat up a dog. That just makes me go ballistic. I'll tell you right now, this is inexcusable behavior. You don't want to encourage brats, right? You don't want to encourage bad people. And any other person who's out there, if you get somebody out there who obstructs you while you're driving, they're going to go to jail. So why are these people different? And I do understand that apparently they were told to stand down at some point, but that's got to stop, And this is another thing. Now, I can get on a roll. Obviously, you guys know this. If you listen to my Witch Files, you understand very clearly that I can talk when I need to. But I'll tell you point blank, it's just very infuriating for me to watch this stuff get undermined, watch our Constitution get undermined by people who are literally, half of them, from what I understand, are not even, I don't even think they voted, period. I think they're underage. A lot of them look like youths. I will say one thing, if college kids are doing this and behaving this way, they need to be expelled from school. And if teachers are supporting it, they need to be fired. These are the rules that we have to live by. And so far as, when people start acting like jerks, you got to do something about it. I do believe that when we have Trump in office, you're going to watch the world change for the better here in America. I was always supportive of Donald J. Trump. I'm extremely happy that he is now the president-elect. And I know that things will change for the better once he gets into office. I also know that they're going out of their way to sabotage and be as hateful as they can insofar as creating all sorts of havoc. Mainstream media has been fuming an awful lot of propaganda against Donald J. Trump, which is inexcusable. This is another thing. If I was him, I would have lawyers on standby ready to sue these people one-on-one for the slander and for them inciting, first of all, race wars, political wars, creating all this propaganda to a point where they've spun it so out of control and it's escalated to such an extent, it's fumed and literally it's just like wildfire across the world. But what I will say to you all is there's a certain percentage of us here, and I would say about 3%, I mean, that's me being kind, that are literally switched on beings. We're multidimensional. We're what we call star people. We have awakening at a higher level of consciousness. We understand what's going on all levels and all dimensional spaces. And we can see between the spaces of programs. We also understand covert technology. Well, I do anyway. We also, a lot of people understand what's behind the scenes, the things that are happening here on the timeline, whereas most mainstream people, all they know is what they've been spoon-fed by propaganda since day one. So that percentage is very, very small, but that percentage is like the pillars of light. I mean, we're the ones who are the movers and the shakers. We do it whether we just by being on the timeline alone, we're raising the vibration of this world. But I will tell you, I'm just ashamed of the fact that the mainstream media has done what they've done. I'm embarrassed for them. I think that they're amateurs, and I guess really what I'd like to say is that this alternative media, which started off as just people trying to get a voice to tell the truth because propaganda was big time on the mainstream media, we're actually here as the real truth media now. And we have actually taken over to a point where they're done. I know they get big bank accounts and they get paid to be basically lying to the masses and everything else. But I'll tell you right now, those guys are done. They're all done on that level because there's been too much deception, and it's a disservice on a global scale. So yeah, I just don't know what else to say about the riots anymore other than the fact that they're not peaceful protests. When people protest peacefully, they don't sit there and obstruct cars and beat people up and pull them out of cars and attack everybody. I mean, you better hope you never encounter me. You start that crap, you SOBs. I'll knock you on your ass. I kid you not, man. You better stay the hell away from me. I'm not too nice when it comes to that. Some people don't know how to fight. Well, I do. So be warned. And that goes for a lot of other people out there. I know we have a lot of good patriots out there, a lot of good freedom fighters. And, when I say patriot, if you love your country, that's patriot. I see a lot of people here who are conditioned. And this is another thing I want to get into, because those of you who know me know my work in covert technology and psychotronic weapons. And you understand that I can profile people really well. I also can profile the mass collective insofar as these people that are protesting and how they're completely what I call sleeper cells activated. They're not the sleeper cells of the Manchurian candidates or people who are monarchs or anything like that. These are the sleeper cells that have been entrained since day one with propaganda to such an extent, and they've been coddled psychologically to such an extent that they don't understand anything anymore but how to hide and how to be a little tiny mouse in a little corner somewhere unless they throw a tantrum. And then when they throw their tantrums, everybody's supposed to tolerate it. Well, that's not okay. But this is all about people being entrained and into social engineering to a point where now it's a defective brainwave activity. So what you're seeing globally, when you start seeing these people protest in the illusion of, which is now a riot, you're seeing people who are literally defective. Okay, I'm going to say that as nice as I can. These people are defective in their brains. And I would also say if they have to have timeouts where they have to cry and psychologically heal themselves because Donald J. Trump, this wonderful, wonderful man, has taken it on himself to become president of the United States when he doesn't need to, and they're going to cry about it. All I can say is get your little, get your lollipop, get your teddy bear, and get your meds, and go put yourself in a psych ward because you're nuts, okay? And that's me saying it as nicely as I can. These people are mentally ill, okay? And I save that word for real serious situations, but I'll tell you right now, that is not normal behavior. That's not normal behavior coming from a college kid, an adult, or a woman, or a male. I don't care who you are, what you are. That is not normal, okay? Normal is who we are. Most people who voted for Donald Trump, that's normal. So anyways, and I'm a big Trump supporter. I've been right there supporting Donald J. Trump since the beginning. And those of you who don't understand where he's coming from, you're just fed propaganda. It's a logical way to look at things, and people don't seem to have that logic anymore. They've lost it along the way. I'm not sure how you can get it back. But I will say I'm not going to hold your hand. And I'll say another thing, too. Let no one stand in our way right now, because you guys can protest all you want, but I don't think it's acceptable because now it's a riot. I would say that if law enforcement doesn't step it up, then somebody else has to, like the National Guard, if it gets out of control any further. I do understand also that they were arresting people in Oregon the other day, which was well-deserved. They shouldn't have let them get out of control. Honestly, I wouldn't have given them 10 minutes of protest time. From what I understand, they were getting so destructive. It's kind of like, you know what? These are chimpanzees on the loose. These people are not even people. They're just rude little bastards, excuse my French. And a lot of them, if you look at some of the footage, I mean, they have flags from other countries. Excuse me, but this is America. Hello? We like everybody, but don't sit here and try to pretend, you want to take over our land and country, man. It's just not going to work, okay? I don't even think they understand where they are or what country they're in. I don't even think they understand anything, quite honestly. They just wander around. And also another thing is I'm beginning to think they're on meds insofar as what kind of drugs these people are on that are doing these riots. I think they're all medicated on something. They have to be on some kind of drug, and also on something probably more severe. So that's me ranting about about this craziness that's going on across the board here. And of course, it's going to stop, and we'll put a stop to it. And when Trump gets into office, I think you're going to see a big, big change in the way that crap's not going to fly. That crap's not going to fly. Little Obama in there, he loves this. He's sitting there just digging it. He's digging it big time. He loves to see all these riots. Oh, boy. This stuff, if you remember clearly a couple of years ago, even last summer, all the riots. Oh, boy, if somebody gets shot, a hoodlum gets shot who's trying to kill or rob somebody and a police officer shoots them, all of a sudden, there has to be a riot. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're a murderer or you're a criminal, or if you have intent to harm, control, manipulate, or hurt somebody, you're going to get your ass killed, okay? Hi, everybody. I just put that damn server on hold. I'm going to drag Jerry B in. I do that all the time here. I used to be able to add to the call, not a problem, and now all of a sudden I can't. Let me see if I can get him over here this way. All right. Hello, Jerry B. There you are. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Your audio sounds great. Yeah.
Great.
So nice. Thanks for joining me. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing real good. I just thought I'd share something here that I was sharing with some of my friends that didn't vote for Donald Trump, and I kind of getting a hold of them. They were getting a hold of me. We were kind of razzing each other. And I told him, I said, did you ever read the website about the taxes that this is the way he wants to break down the taxes? Nah, 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 nah. I said, well, you're making under $40,000 a year. That made you pay no federal income tax under his plan. And their mouth just dropped open. Really?
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, it's
Yeah.
called educating yourself. Yeah, before you sit there and gripe about something, right?
Absolutely. And the first thing out of the mouth, look at the stock market, it's going to crash. The stock market hit an all-time high
Hmm.
already, and he's not even in office.
Oh yeah, I know. He's gold. He's gold to this whole country, and people are
The
so stupid.
Trans-Pacific Partnership is now off the table,
Yeah.
and he's not even in office. This is great. I'm
Just
loving
raise the roof,
it.
raise the roof. I know. I can't be more excited. I'm telling you right now, I'm so happy. And like I said, it's so disgusting to watch these imbeciles, but they're not going to rain on our parade, and we're going to get it all under control. And mainstream media is held accountable. So is the Clinton administration, and so is Obama. So I think that's all going to go down real ugly. Oh, of course, we can't forget little Soros waddling his big ass around everywhere, trying to cause all sorts of problems. Now, can we?
Yeah, I'm not getting too excited about the young kids out there because I've seen, Mexican flags, communist flags, Russia flags,
Hmm.
all these flags, and I don't see any American flags. So that just tells me they're just a bunch of agitators and probably being paid to come out there and cause some noise. And hey, as long as they don't hurt anybody or damage property, they have all the right in the world. I protested the Vietnam War, but I didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, but these guys aren't doing that. They're not just protesting. They're
Well,
rioting. They're getting more
well,
violent.
then I'm sure that once the weekend is over, they'll be warned that hey, listen, you've said your piece and everything. Now go about your way, or we'll arrest you. I
There you
mean,
go. That's what's happening. Yeah,
I could see it coming on Monday morning
party's
if
over.
you want to continue destroying. These are the properties. All these protests, but some of them are protests, some are riots, but they're all taking place in the areas where Hillary won. They're
Yeah.
destroying their own property.
Well, that's
I mean,
typical.
come on, people, wake up.
I'll tell you what, there's definitely something wrong with them psychologically speaking. I mean, you have the ones that are paid for, insofar as doing it literally up by a paycheck, and then you have the other ones that are just plain, I don't know, something's wrong with them. They're not firing right. There's no doubt about that one. But I do see that as yeah, they're going to get sick of it. I'm sick of it already. I'm not shocked by them. I'm just like, you know what? Stay out of my neighborhood. Stay away from my friends' neighborhoods, and just suck it up and shut up. And that's where my attitude is right now. I have no tolerance for this. And I will say we do have some really nice drones at Area 6 that we could use on these guys. And well, damn, I'm telling you right now. I wish I was in charge sometimes, Jerry. These guys would not be doing this right now. What can I say? Right? But we'll have
Well,
Trump in charge, President Donald J. Trump in charge. You know what I'd love for him to do is relieve Obama from command and say, you know what, we're going to prosecute you for war crimes, by the way. Since you've opened up the borders and you've allowed terror cells to activate here, we think it's appropriate that we prosecute you for war crimes. I hope you don't mind. And that goes for anybody else who's been affiliated with that. We have so many things, Jerry. There's so many things that these people are skating away with as they exit the White House. It's very offensive, and this is a miracle, you guys. You should be counting your blessings at Thanksgiving that we have Donald J. Trump as president elect, because this is going to change and save this country. So that's all I can tell you, man.
yeah, another thing he's working on, another positive thing that people probably don't know about, but you and I do our research. There's about $10 trillion offshore. He's trying to get at least $2 trillion at a 10% tax rate back into America if they'll agree to put the money towards jobs. See, he thinks, like I said, he doesn't think out of the box. He made his own box. This man is talking about things that are realistic and common sense that will pump up this economy in 6 months. That we could just be churning right out with jobs.
Hmm.
And Mr. Rowe knows this too as well as you do. We have the ability to burn clean coal now, and they keep talking about it's pollution. No, we can burn clean coal. We have the technology.
Hmm.
We have more than that, but let's stick with the coal. He can put those workers back to work in just the sweep of a pen.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
I
you're going to
mean,
see everything. Really, you're going to see it change. You're going to see it all change for the better.
oh my gosh, there's so many things that can be done. We can start making steel again. We buy our steel from, I think it's Russia.
The thing is, when you do it yourself, first of all, you're making a better product. At least we used to make a better product, and I'm sure we will again. But
Right.
also, you're not constantly being relying on other people, other countries. I don't like that at all. I don't like relying on everybody. Why is everything outsourced? We have nothing that's made in the United States anymore. We used to gripe about this all the time. Remember, Jerry? And now
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, what's wrong with these people that are, what the hell? Anybody who hasn't voted for Trump, you have a problem, man. You really do. I mean, honestly, it just makes me so angry
Well,
sometimes.
they had back in 1979 at Detroit Diesel, where I worked at, I retired from. They had 7,000 employees there. You know what they had in 2013 when I retired? 300,
Mm.
all because of NAFTA and GATT.
Hmm.
Like Ross Perot said, that giant sucking sound just right out of the country.
Yep, certainly did.
See,
Yeah.
Trump has been the well. I say Trump and Ron Paul. Ron Paul talked about it too. I have to admit, Rand Paul. He talked about the NAFTA, but other than those two people, nobody else even talked about it.
Hmm.
And he just doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to get rid of it or renegotiate it. I guess the guy in Canada is already ready to negotiate the trades with them.
Oh, I'm
He's not
sure he
messing
is.
around.
It's really interesting to watch all this this activity going on. You have one man taking on the New World Order, and he's doing a really good job. I know he's got a lot of backup because we all love him. I mean, we're all there on the sidelines helping as best we can as the American people, as the spirit of America. But I'll tell you, man, one guy, one man standing up against all these cabals, these corrupt SOBs. Do you wonder why they hate him so much? Because he's standing up against them, because he's everything. He's not letting them control and pull the strings anymore. And if you want your liberties and you want your freedom and you're sick and tired of the crap that's been going on with cabals and this orchestration of evil, then Trump's your man, let me tell you.
Yeah, he wants to give everybody the ability to make a living for themselves, not count on the government or somebody else. Because if you're counting on the government or somebody else to make a living for yourself, you can't grow, you can't dream. You're totally dependent on them. That's why kids leave home when they get old enough. They want to go out and live their own
Not
life.
these kids, not these kids. They're going to live in the basement. Well,
Well, we're
man.
talking snowflakes now. We're talking,
I'm like, wow, you have a teddy bear kid. I can't
did
believe
you
it.
uh, did you jump in your safe space when you were a kid when somebody yelled at you?
No, are you kidding me? This is what I mean. Hell no. That's just
They didn't give me a particular square footage where I could protest that
no.
protest
Give me
area
up
my ass.
myself in my safe zone, so I can't be offended. Oh, it's so disgusting for me, especially as a martial arts instructor. I just look at him like, man, you wouldn't last 2 seconds in my class, you pansy. Get your ass out of here. I'm sorry. I can't take it.
Swears you're hurting my feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not here. I'm not anybody's friend when it comes to those kinds. I'm sorry. That's a defective program. That's what psychologists are for. Okay. If you have a problem like that, if you're that weak, you need psychology treatment. There's something wrong with you. No
Well,
doubt.
to all the people out there that are running around acting like they're scared to death, whether it's an act or not, if you're obeying the law, you've got nothing to be afraid of. Absolutely nothing.
The thing is, the problem is that they're so entrained by mainstream media, they just don't know. They're illiterate. These people, this is what cracks me up. I think you are much better off not going to any type of a school and learning and self-educating yourself. That's just me. You can read books, you start learning, you grow, and you're outside the illusion of the programmed propaganda that's nothing but edited and censored information since day one anyway. This is the byproduct. Look at these college kids that think they're all so smart. And
Yep.
they don't have any firing neurons. They are the most stupid bunch of people I've ever seen in my entire life. They're embarrassing, and I can't imagine. I would never hire one of them. If I have my corporation, you would not be working for me. You're too stupid and you're too weak.
Well, be careful there now because there are some that got through it okay,
Maybe
but
a small percentage, Jerry,
a
but I'm saying
small
the ones
percentage,
that are out there right
absolutely.
now, they're embarrassing, and they're not Americans because anybody sitting there who's griping about Trump, you're not an American. I don't know what you are. I don't know what spawned you, but you're not an American. You're not an American at all. And I don't know why anybody's so worried about, hurting somebody's feelings who's coming over the border with an Islamic extremist agenda to rape your daughter. You got a problem with that? Let me tell you something. I have a friend that got her daughter raped in Vermont by those sons of bitches. And it's not pretty and it's not cute. And it is not okay. And these women out there who are sitting there against Trump, you better get your acts together, ladies, because you don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, when you've got professors that tell their kids, yeah, go out there and protest, we'll give you extra credit or whatever it is, we'll give you something towards a class, and I thought to myself, well, what a hell of a thing to say.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, you're telling a kid to protest that you're supposed to be there to teach them how to think for themselves so they can make up their own mind, not tell them what to do.
Well, the teachers are a joke, too. This is what I mean by the teachers need to be fired or at least suspended without pay. That's what I would do, and I would expel the kids. I'm sorry. But if they're going to spend their money and or tax dollars' money or their mom's and dad's money, so they can sit there and protest and whine about something they don't have an understanding of. They don't deserve to have an education. Period. They should be out on the streets. Honestly, that's what I would do. Sorry, if I was the parent of those kids that are going to school and I was funding that, I'd cut them off immediately.
Yeah, my daughter and I were talking yesterday, that, I was really, she never even questioned me wanting her to go to college because we both thought it was a great thing and it'll be okay. But I'll tell you what, as far as it comes to my grandchildren, we talked about it, they're probably not going to end up going to college unless something drastically changes because it'd be much better going to real estate school
Learn a trade.
or learn a trade, something that they can actually use because
Hmm.
a lot of the times they go into college and they really don't work with the kids to get them into something where they can make some money and enjoy their career. They
No.
just throw them out there, take your money, and
Hmm.
thank you very much. And oh, by the way, everybody has to do that fifth year because they don't quite have enough credits.
Well,
It's just a scam. I just went through it, a few years back with my daughter, and we'll be paying for that college probably till the day I die. But
hmm
you live and you learn. You learn by your
right.
mistakes. But they changed the system. They changed the system on me in the middle of it. So what are you going to do? It's like they want to change the voting system. Oh, I got to go by popular vote. Screw the electoral vote. Well, if you want to change it, then change it for the next election, not in the middle of the game.
No, they just don't like the way the game worked this time. They don't
Well,
like what happened. You know what's really interesting is Trump won against all odds because they were sabotaging out the wazoo. Let us not pretend that they weren't stuffing ballots or trashing, people who sent in ballots for Trump and everything else. If we were to sit there and really sift through everything, I bet you Trump had a ton of votes beyond that,
oh
beyond
yeah,
way beyond.
they were gypped and they end up stealing about five states.
Oh, sure.
We know that. We
Yeah,
could see the voting machines changing, kept
right.
changing. But either way, I was really proud of Michigan because Michigan's a lot of unions here, and this is a rust belt and everything. We're laborers here, most of us. I mean, there's a lot of technical people too, but for years, we've supported Democrats and we thought we were doing the right thing. But a lot of people are saying, something, you did the NAFTA, you did the GATT, you're doing all this stuff. The people coming in are making a third of what we made. Just something ain't right here.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
people start waking up, and other people don't care. But I'm really proud of the fact that they won. He won Michigan because it's if you can win Michigan being a Republican, then you're doing something right
Hmm.
or something's drastically wrong. One of the two.
It's both. I think it's both.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. Yeah, count your blessings with him. I'll tell you what, and of course we send him prayers and shielding and all these crazy daisies that are sitting there trying to incite an assassination against him. Those people need to be tracked and prosecuted for, first of all, domestic terrorism and inciting a potential an assassination program. I mean, literally, these people need to be held accountable. I'm sorry, you can't just spew like that. That's BS. I mean, I'm starting to get very angry at some of the negligence that's going on here. Any other person would probably get a visit from the Secret Service, but somehow, some way, these people are able to skate away. And I'm telling you right now, there's facial recognition for a reason, folks, and they've got your faces, okay? And all of you are going to be tagged as domestic terrorists before it's all said and done. So I'd be watching your sorry butts if I were you. That's just my own background in surveillance.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
people
Jerry.
need to be aware of the mainstream media too, and I'm sure most of the people were preaching to the choir here, but like Amy Schumer, they came out with this article where Trump was supposed to have said all this stuff, and then way down about the 18th paragraph, after it looked like Trump was just a terrible person, and she says, "Well, of course, this isn't true. This
This is
isn't a true
nasty. She
quote,"
should be
because she
prosecuted.
knows a lot of people will just read the headlines and go on, and they're going to keep doing this. They're saying Jamie Dimon's going to be in. Jamie Dimon's going to do anything with the Trump organization. It's all lies.
You can't go by it at all. Anything
No,
coming out of mainstream right now, you guys don't even pay attention to it. Go to Alex Jones. Go to anybody but them. Seriously,
yeah,
they
you
are.
need to.
Alex,
It's
I
at
like
least
Alex Jones.
you
Go
need to
ahead.
check at least three sources before you even begin to believe anything because it's already started.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, they're not going to give up. These are the people that you got to get all their tentacles because they are not going to give up. They're spiteful. They are hateful. Just if you guys haven't seen the Jerry and I were laughing at this the other day. Sad to say, but we were looking at the pictures of the people of the White House personnel over there with Obama, and man, they're just nasty, dirty looks, hatred in their eyes. Wasn't that amusing, Jerry? The evil in those people's faces.
when you sent me those pictures, I just looked and I said, "Oh my God."
I couldn't believe it was real. I was like, if looks could kill, Jesus, I hope he had some extra armor on. I felt so sorry for Donald Trump
I
going into
thought it
that
was
hostile
I
world.
thought it was some type of a sketch picture at first. And he
Like
said, "No, this is the real staff."
I would
Oh my
fire them
God.
immediately. Like no way in hell or heaven or anything in between. I would have a cup of tea with them or anything else. They're done. They're out of here.
And that one girl in the background was crying her eyes out. I thought,
Yeah,
"Geez,
another snowflake. Yeah.
he's just showing up for dinner, guys. Relax, you know."
Why are they so scared? Oh my God. Isn't
Yeah,
it
that was
funny? I'm thinking to myself, I'm so glad Donald Trump has that effect on people like that. That's good. It really is. I think it's great. I guess
yeah,
they're
that
scared. Good for them. Good. They need to be because they're criminals. So I would be scared too if I was a criminal like them.
well, I'm 66 years old, Solaris, and I'll tell you what. The older I got, the more I realized that we were in for some trouble here. Things weren't like it was in the 50s. We used to leave our doors unlocked. Somebody come by, roll your window up. If it started raining, your car could be in the street. They didn't steal your stereo. They rolled your window up.
I remember. Yeah.
You know, moms could stay at home. They didn't have to work. They could if they wanted to. Things have changed so much. I've watched everything deteriorate over the years. You know, people, if somebody said some of these things about killing people, I mean, they would be arrested on the spot. And not
Hmm.
just the president, anybody.
That's right.
You threaten somebody's life, and man, you'd be in that jail so quick. It's just like, there's a group of people that have infiltrated this country and they have really destroyed things. They've made everything so-called acceptable, and it's not.
No, it's not.
This election on November the 8th was the first step back towards a republic in
Hmm.
all the time I've been on this planet. And I just sat there and I had a tear in my eye. I said, I can't believe that we actually have a chance to get back to where we're supposed to be.
And even better. Yep.
It's like
Absolutely.
Ben Franklin said when he was asked when they come out and they signed the paperwork. He goes, what kind of government did you give us, Mr. Franklin? He looked at the guy and says, well, we gave you a republic. But the question is, can you keep it? And that's
Exactly.
been the battle all along.
That's right. Well, we're here to defend it, and we're going to have it, and we're going to keep it. And Trump's in the lead, so we've got a good leader now. We've got somebody. My biggest concern is basically keeping him safe until he gets in there, and
Hmm.
and also getting this to de-escalate this craziness and the propaganda, which is basically coming from mainstream. It's coming from the mainstream media. They are spinning everything, creating and fuming everything. I mean, they're just fueling these fires. So, it's got to be stopped. You can't encourage this bad behavior. I'm sorry. Any other situation with people wandering the streets like that or obstructing traffic like they are. And then there's footage of the poor guy who gets pulled out of his vehicle and beat up because he was a Trump supporter. And then this little kid gets beat up at school. This is BS. I'm sorry, but where do you draw the lines? Where are the teachers? Where are the principals? And why isn't there a lawsuit already?
I tell you what, they try that stuff in my neighborhood, they'd be really surprised because
Yeah.
we fight back.
Oh, yeah, they'd be missing teeth or have a couple, nice lead in their bodies. Yeah. Because, the bottom line is if they want us war, we're not here to start any wars, but we're not going to put up with their crap either. So we expect our law enforcement to deal with it. If law enforcement doesn't deal with it, somebody else needs to. But I'll tell you right now, we've got Obama in there not doing anything about it. And I know they love it. They love every minute of it, them and the Clintons and everybody else. And I feel really bad for Trump because he deserves more than that. He deserves a lot of respect.
Yes.
And this is not okay. If you're a real American, stand the hell down and stop that bullshit. Excuse my French. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. You have to show courtesy. We were touching on this also. There have been many, many elections, and never has this kind of crap happened before with an election. You there, Jer?
No, it's always been a peaceful transfer. I was talking to Jesse Ventura after a program when Rob and Dr. Falco had him on a couple years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
we were talking after the show, and he said, they ought to eliminate these two-party system. He says this isn't two parties. This is the stuff that just causes trouble. So there shouldn't be any parties. People should just run on their platform of the issues and what they want to do or what they've done, and that be it. You have a certain amount of money everybody gets, and you go ahead and you run. I think that's the right way to go because anytime you have two different parties, two different teams, it just causes a bunch of stuff. People start thinking stupid. Instead of thinking about what issue is correct and what it's not, even if it's their party, they ignore it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if it was just a person that had issues that they were running on, you wouldn't have to have all this animosity between the parties and all the money that piles in and the lobbyists and the special interests.
Mm-hmm.
You would actually run on your abilities.
Right.
I think that would be the way to go down the road. Just not have any parties whatsoever.
Well, it's
But
an idea.
that's just something that I agree with Mr. Ventura on.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I mean, there's definitely there's always an alternative. We can always do something differently. But I will tell you right now, they're just playing dirty. They were playing dirty when it first started. I mean, they were attacking Donald Trump since day one with propaganda. The mainstream media constantly attacking him, protecting Hillary. And she's the one. If anybody pays attention to those WikiLeaks, which I really think you should have, you'd be understanding very clearly what kind of criminal she was. And she should have never been able to run to begin with. She should be counting her blessings she was able to even run. Period. Right.
Yeah.
And
I
not
had
to
a
mention, go ahead.
I had a black friend of mine that was calling Trump a racist in the beginning. I said, "Come on, man, let me show you something." I sent him a link. It was a link back to Reverend Jesse Jackson up there giving a speech about he's never seen anybody in his whole life that had done more for the black community than Donald Trump. I said, "Does that sound like a racist to you?" He goes, "Oh, I didn't know that." I said, "You need to do your research,
Yeah,
dude."
exactly. That's the
Oh
thing.
yeah, it was clear as a bell. He was just he said he'd done more for the black community than anybody in New York.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, he's a good man. There's no doubt about that. It's these people. What bothers me the most is how this mainstream media can be so
Yep.
vicious, and how they can sit there and pursue this. I mean, they won't shut up. They won't stop. They won't stand down. What are you going to do? Have to put a gag order on them and tell them that they can't harass and do this inciting of propaganda anymore? I mean, and hate crimes and everything else. I mean, what do you
Yeah.
do? How do you deal with them? I mean, quite honestly, I'd say pull the plug and don't watch them. I can't stand mainstream media. I can't stand it. I can't even look at them. They're all disgusting. They're all liars. I mean, we are the truth media, as I was touching on earlier when we first started, that we are the truth media. We are the real media. We don't play games. We don't censor. We don't let people censor us. If you don't like it, change the channel. That's what it's about. But we tell the
Yeah.
truth. That's for damn sure. You're not going to get lied to here.
Yeah. The media was supposed to be an extra arm there. The journalists were supposed to be. They have a lot of freedom, so they could go for the truth and not let stuff like this get by. And then they passed that law in 2013 that legal and okay and just fine if they want to lie now during the news broadcast. They don't even have to tell the truth. They had to have a law.
Pinocchio. It's called Pinocchio program. Yeah,
Give
literally.
me a break.
This is why I can't stand them. And not to mention they're overpaid. They're just overpaid, period. None of them deserve their salaries. They don't deserve a thing. So, and that goes for Hollywood too, and their weirdness. What was Robert De Niro's bug up his butt? And his psychotic behavior against Trump. Was he jealous? You have to look at these people like, what? Get the hell out of my country. You know what bothers me the most, you guys? I can appreciate acting and movies and music and everything, but when these people start thinking their crap doesn't stink, and they're just entertainers, mind you, overpaid entertainers, they have no right to be doing that kind of thing. That's what bothers me the most. They think that because they have a following, they can influence the following. Well, Lady Gugu was out there after the election trying to incite a riot. And I think she kind of did because after that, the protests started up. So, I take a look at these people like they're really lowlifes. They're lowlifes with lots of money they don't even deserve.
Well, I don't know. I know one thing though. According to what I heard Madonna say, she's going to be one busy woman the next couple of weeks.
Gross. I don't think anybody wants her, Jerry.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I
I
think
know, I know.
that's
It's
so
disgusting, but
funny.
this is the low life mentality. They lowered the bar insofar as no class goes. The people that have class and integrity are the people who are, and maybe I'm prejudiced, maybe I'm racist, but Trump supporters have class. And it's really interesting. Even though I can drop an F bomb once in a while, I have class and integrity. But these people are low lives, okay? They're low lives. So, yeah. It's a strange world, Jerry, but we're getting through it step by step. It's, everybody's got their problem. Every country has their own issues, but here America has always been that holding ground for a higher spectrum of what the world should be. We've usually set the benchmark of integrity, and we're bringing that back again. We're going to bring that back instead of this craziness that's going on across the board.
Yeah, some of these kids that are alive now, they've never known anybody but a Bush or a Clinton in office. I guess they think it goes back and forth that they can't have anybody new.
It's time. It's time. It truly is time for them to stop squatting in D.C. I've mentioned that before too. I'm like, you know what? We've had enough of them. They've had their glory days, and they've done nothing but commit crimes and behind the scenes and everything else. So yeah, we don't need them there anymore. Quite honestly, I think they're done. And I know the daughter's trying to run for isn't it Congress right now or something like that. They just won't flush. They're like, excuse
Yeah,
me, crap that doesn't flush in the toilet. Okay, they just don't flush.
they're starting already. They said they're going to start grooming what's her name, Chelsea for senator in the 17th district. The one they control, which is a joke. I mean, they just like you said, they just never quit.
No, they don't.
They just never quit.
No, it's just like I said, they won't flush. Well, he's draining the swamp, so I'm sure there'll be a swamp creature there when he finishes his draining. Be something there showing up. It's really weird, Jerry. I just never saw anything like this in my entire life. I've never seen anything like it where there's that kind of animosity and hostility and that kind of propaganda and attack against one man. It wasn't fair. It wasn't equal. Mainstream media didn't attack Hitler. They went after him, and that was all not by accident. So
I'd say if these entertainers, they act like leaving the country's no big thing, where people like me, I have a hard time getting enough money to take a damn vacation, let alone leave the country.
hmm
They just don't understand that people out there, they're living from day to day, week to week, and they've got everything because people have, paid to see their stuff, and,
the brainwashing.
more power to them. But I got something to say to them. If they want to leave the country still, let them go to Haiti. Let them go to Haiti and say, where I vote for Hillary stickers. See how that works out.
Exactly.
The country that they collected billions of dollars for and only paid about 3 or 4%. Even their own daughter said, people are dying over here.
Oh
Mom and
yeah.
Dad, we need to do something.
They don't care. They don't care. Everybody's collateral damage. That's the bottom line. That's what they need to realize. These followers of Hitler that adore her. I don't know why, but literally, don't you understand? She doesn't give a rat's ass about you. This I mean, look at Benghazi, for crying out loud. I mean, seriously. Just wake up, wake up, wake up.
What difference at this point does it make?
And she has that nasty, nasty voice too. I'm telling you, man, she's a cackle.
I know.
It's just nasty. I'm sorry, I can't say anything nice about her. I really can't. If she had a good background and she wasn't a criminal, I would probably be halfway decent to her. But the fact that I know so much about her and I know where she's been and how dirty she is, it's filthy. I can't be nice. I'm sorry, I just can't. So that's, it's just.
Well, I have empathy for her because her life is going to be one hell on earth right now. But you know what? She's cost a lot of people their lives on this planet.
She's basically destroyed out how many?
You just can't let something like that continue and destroy countries. She's destroyed countries.
Well, she thinks it's funny. These people are in the illusion of power. They think that they're the elite. They're not the elite. I've always said it. They're just overpaid employees. Somehow they manage to get out of control with their money to a point where they think they're better than everybody else, but they're not. And as a matter of fact, the more I see people who have that kind of money, the more I see them as very illiterate and very, very out of touch with a lot of different things, even on a multidimensional scale. These people are dumb. So, and then they want everybody dumbed down so they can look smart. Well, sorry, It ain't happening. So I'm just done with it. I'm done with their illusion. I'm done with their propaganda. We have a very good opportunity right now to put this country right on track where it needs to be and let nobody stand in our way. I don't care about these riots and these protesters and these creeps. I'm done with it. Let's just set it straight. Let's just keep going. And they need to address this kind of hostility. This cannot keep escalating anymore. People need to feel safe on the streets. People need to feel safe when they're driving from point A to point B without having the highways blocked by a bunch of brats. Simple as that.
I was listening to John Rappaport the other day. Man, he is one smart guy. He gets it. He gets it big time. And he's a really easygoing guy. But like he says, now that she's down, you don't let her up. You make her pay for her crimes, just like everybody else has to pay for their crimes.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody else does, half of what she's done, they'd be in prison.
Oh yeah.
They need to just try her, and see if there's nothing there, and they say, okay, fine, you're cool, you're good to go, fine. But it needs to be looked at honestly. It just needs to be looked at honestly. I'm not a revengeful type of person, that, Solaris. But when you do certain things, you have to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. Everybody is accountable,
Oh yeah. Well, that's the whole
just the
idea.
way
There
it
needs
is.
to be, although they think they have immunity on many levels, and they'll, but they don't. They on a universal scale, they have no immunity whatsoever. So if they get away with anything here in the illusion of on the timeline, believe me, there's a big universal wave that's not on their side. So I always look at it on that level. But also, I do believe, she needs to be held accountable for some of the crimes she's done and a lot of the crimes they've done. So there's way too much going on the timeline, and these people need to be called out. And of course, they have been called out, and Trump called them out. That's what I love about Donald Trump. I mean, he was calling them out, in truth, not in
Yeah, and
not in a fantasy.
and it's not just her. She didn't do Benghazi on her own. There's a whole lot of people involved in there, and they need to take credit for what they did too. They need to be accountable for it. All those people that were involved, because you had You had Americans over there, 4 Americans that fought hard for what, 13, 15 hours waiting for Americans to come and rescue. We don't leave our men behind, and they left them behind.
Mm.
Somebody needs to pay for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, hi there, John. John's listening. John Savage is listening to the show, and he made a point. He said, "Did you notice that all of those rioting areas are the same cities that the Democrats have a stronghold in?" And that's pretty much true.
Well, that's an interesting statement because Alex's brother or his, I think it's his brother or cousin from Guatemala there. He did an overlay on the sanctuary cities to the cities that she won the other day, and it matches up perfectly. And it's an expansion. They're triangulating on the sanctuary cities to grow. Those sanctuary cities need to go because they don't come under the rule of law of the United States.
Hmm.
The sanctuary cities need to go.
Oh yeah, we have so much infiltration, Jerry. I mean, this has been going on for years and years and years. But I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Completely against our Constitution. How can you, like the Katie law or whatever, talk about on Fox? O'Reilly talks of the Caitlin law or something, that the gal that got killed, That guy was here, I don't know how many crimes he committed before he finally killed her. And he was living in one of those sanctuary cities where they couldn't do anything. Well, what is that all about?
Well, you know what? This is our soil. This is our land, whether they like it or not. I know they try to sell it off to every other country. I get that. But seriously, no, they're not going to be getting away with this stuff any longer. And this is why get them out of here, get them out of our country. If they have criminal backgrounds, if they're, the types that are going to sit here and harm somebody or create terror cells or do something harmful to women or children, they need to be gone. They need to be gone yesterday. And of course, this is what bothers me the most. All these years we've had those borders wide open, and of course, Border Patrol stands down. They can't do a damn thing. We've got so many sleeper cells here. It's not even funny. If you people knew how many sleeper cells we had here that could activate any moment. And this is another thing with these quote unquote protests that are morphing into riots. Now you have the Islamic extremist terror cells ready to hop right in and influence these imbeciles, and you've got a nightmare on your hands. It is getting out of control, and we all know, Jerry, it's got to be dealt with. So, as we were saying, the law enforcement is starting to move, and they are starting to arrest these people. But I also understand that some law enforcement has been hurt already. So, obviously, that's unnecessary, right? They shouldn't be getting hurt at all because this shouldn't be happening. Period. End of story.
Well, I heard Sheriff Clark talk the other day, and it sounds like he's saying that they're going to kind of give them through the weekend, to kind of get it out. And if this crap continues to destroying property and hurting people on money, they're not gonna like the repercussions because they're not going to play games. They're going to be using rubber bullets, tear gas, and
that's too nice.
There's a difference between a protest and a riot. I mean, there's people there in those cities that are private business owners, or there are people out there that it could even be me or you with a business, and then you got these people just destroying their windows and everything. It's just wrong. That's criminal.
They're
That's
hoodlums.
criminal.
And if you look at a lot of them, if you look at the footage, they look like a bunch of hoodlums. They don't even look like people that are legitimate or educated in any form. Even the college kids, like I said, they're just snowflakes, and they're stupid. They're stupid people. I wouldn't trust them babysitting my dog. Okay, these are worthless people, in my opinion. And
Well,
embarrassing
they've
to
been
this
caught
country.
already busting a lot of people in. Those are the ones that are causing all the damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're the ones that are getting violent. There's people out there protesting, running their mouths. They got nothing to say. They got like 6 words they just repeat over and over again. They don't know what a sentence is.
No, they probably don't even speak English.
But they're not hurting anybody. It's the groups that they bring into the buses, and they're paying big money to come in there. They start beating up boxes, and they start beating on other people in the crowd. Those are the people who they just need to just right away, just, get in the truck, take them off
Mm-hmm. I agree.
before they hurt themselves or somebody else.
That's the thing is, there's such a thing as etiquette and professionalism. I don't care if you're unhappy about something. There is a way to deal with life and with diplomacy to some degree. They're just not doing that. So, yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's kind of put a damper on a lot of situations, but I'll tell you, it'll be dealt with. In one way or another, they're not going to have their way. And that's just the way it's going to roll. Mainstream media is going to be grinding their teeth because they're not going to have their way either. And whatever's going on in D.C. and all the deception being played out, guess what? They're not going to have their way either, even though they think they do. And I know, Jerry, and you and I both know, those people will stop at nothing to destroy anything that Trump does, and including himself. So very concerning about this deception that's going on.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall with that meeting between Obama and Trump the other day.
Well, did you read the body language? Because that kind of summed it up for me.
Yeah, that was after the meeting, yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, the energy exchange didn't look good. I mean, I just didn't. It's just
I mean,
oil
think
and
about
water.
it, Solaris. We can do better than this. You got somebody like Nancy Pelosi, the great statement she made. You got to pass the bill to know what's in it. Excuse me. You got the other senator that was saying you got to get the Marines off the island. They're going to tip it over. Excuse me. I mean,
Uh,
these are people that are in leadership roles. Give me a
I don't know
break.
how they got their roles in the illusion of leadership. That's what makes me so sick. It's just like this is what I mean by overpaid illiterates pretending to be smart. They're on their Prozac. They're on their drugs. What kind of meds do you think they're on, Jerry? I'd like to see them take a drug test, wouldn't you?
Well, they had the other gal that was talking about, doesn't know the difference between WikiLeaks and Wikipedia. She got him
Wow.
confused,
How many brain cells?
And she goes,
Wow.
"Oh, okay, never mind." These are people that are signing bills. I mean,
Aren't
do
they
you think they
heating?
could even read a bill?
I swear there's a zombie race. I don't know what's going on. I'm just grateful that I was given a good noggin, okay? And I know you were and the listeners too. But I don't know what to tell you
Well,
anymore, Jerry. It's almost
there's a
laughable.
lot of good people on Democrats, liberals, Republicans out there that could come into those offices and do a much better job than those morons.
Yeah, there's
We
plenty
have
of people.
got the bottom of the pit in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intelligent people that could come in there and spend 4 years, 6 years, and go home back to wherever they're at. That's the way the system was set up, not for career politicians, because they're making rules and laws in a land that they don't have to live in. They don't have Obamacare.
Mm-mm.
They have the best possible insurance on the earth. We pay for it. They have pensions that are just through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
All they got to do is spend one term in there, and they're good to go for life. People, we need to wake up. They're not public servants. They're dictators.
Yeah, exactly. And they think
We
they're
need to.
privileged.
We do need to set this thing right back to the way it was originally designed. There's nothing wrong with the design. It's the people in there that have infiltrated and have destroyed the system.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. Well, like I said, they've corrupted everything. It's just like a corrupted file in a computer. It has to be dealt with, or it creates a virus for the whole world. And it's creating a virus in D.C. It's a virus that's permeating through every state, and Trump's the cure. So seriously, that's the way it's rolling. And I know things will get better, as I said, but right now it's very, very surreal, very strange, especially this time of year when people should be giving thanks. We have Thanksgiving coming up, in the illusion of, and just even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just being thankful for your loved ones, your family, whatever. People don't seem to appreciate much anymore, Jerry. They just take everything for granted, right down to life. You know what people's lives are? I mentioned this before on one of my witch files. That poor guy who got beat up that day. What bothers me was, you don't know where that guy comes from. You don't know what he's been going through. You don't know if he's lost his wife. You don't know if he has cancer, but you'll drag him out of a car and beat him up because you're mad because he's a Trump supporter. You have a freaking problem, and I'd knock you on your ass if I ever saw you. I don't care. I'll tell you right now, that makes me so angry, Jerry, because if people just back up for just a half a second and take a look at everybody else and just realize, do you have any idea what people are going through from day to day? Do you think it's all about you? Do you think your riots and your protests are all about you and your little pansy ass attitudes? No. And this is the problem I have, Jerry. There are people who have serious lives. They work really hard each day. They barely make it. And these scumbags are out there, these little brats. Oh, I just get so angry when I see this. This is like, no, it's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Well, my daughter is struggling with her premiums on her insurance, and I was telling her, we went to the website, and I was telling her go and read some of the stuff she wants to do. I mean, the insurance will, if you go state to state, you open it up instead of just one state. You can go through any state you want. It lowers the rates. There's so many things that could be done to have a really good healthcare system for the general Joe Blow,
Mm-hmm.
and the catastrophic thing can actually be a savings. That you can use it with any one of your family members. I mean, this stuff has all been set out there before,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been looked at. But then you have the people who like to control everything. Obamacare had nothing to do with health; it was about control,
Mm-hmm.
because they knew it would fail. And in 2017, some people are paying 3 times the amount of premium. It's meant to go through the ceiling so they can say, okay, now that it gets so bad, they can say, well, we'll just do a government health care program with the single, can't remember the term they use.
Like
They
family.
set it up to go right back to the government control everything about the single payer. Yeah. They set it up so it would go that way. And they think that we're so stupid we couldn't see that.
Well,
Sure, we've seen
think
it.
of it, Jerry, though. There are a lot of people out there who are stupid. And I don't want to say this, well, I guess I will. I'm just going to be blunt. There are a lot of people out there who don't educate themselves. And that's very, very concerning. And I've always said this, that people who aren't educated are very, very dangerous because they can they can cause a lot of problems if they're not getting the clear information. So,
Well, if President Trump does half of the things that he said he wanted to do, we will be such a much better nation.
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, even half the things he said.
Oh, I know. You know in your spirit and your heart that he is the right person. I mean, I knew that when we were watching him. We first started listening to what he had to say. Everybody was moved energetically by his presence, by what he had to communicate. Even the vice president now, Mike Pence, awesome. These are people that we need in office, and that's what class and integrity looks like, folks. If you don't know, you might have forgotten. Well, that's what it looks like. That's what the spirit of America looks like too. And I guess you forgot about that as well. So very unfortunate because we have had so much decrepit crap over there in D.C. and deception and garbage. You know.
Yeah, and if you're from the old school like me and you want to wish somebody a Merry Christmas, somebody doesn't want to chop your head off for it.
Right. That's another thing. Yeah. There's no. Well, they don't coexist. I mean, they can't coexist. No, it's real easy. Everybody can coexist. It's okay. Everybody can have a different opinion about things or a different belief system. That's okay. But some people don't want to do that. They want to, annihilate everybody else, and that's not okay or appropriate. So. There's nothing wrong with securing the borders. There's nothing wrong with stopping viruses and diseases and tuberculosis and all sorts of crap like leprosy and everything else coming over the border. There's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with vetting people coming over the border to make sure they're not criminals. They're not going to molest your daughter, not going to rape your son, right? I don't think there's
Well,
anything
for
wrong with that, right, folks?
well, for years, people came into this country and they had to stay at Ellis Island for a couple of weeks or so to make sure they weren't carrying disease. All of a sudden, like I say, as time went on, all the rules were just dropped. Everything's just
Well, yeah,
wide
it's
open.
basically it's like anything goes. It's like Obama's sitting
Right.
there laughing. He must be smoking a joint or something. He's just sitting there thinking, "Oh yeah, just we don't care. Let them all in. Let them trash. Let's gut America. Gut America. Gut America. No,
Well, he
thank you."
goes, I don't know how many times he's gotten up in that podium and read the bad news about somebody getting murdered or strangled or some Christian's head cut off so and so. He'll go up there and read it. And 5 minutes later, he's got his golf club up on the way to the golf course. He could care
Well,
less.
he doesn't care. Yeah, he's completely programmed.
I
Plus, he
mean,
was
come
inserted in there.
on.
He stole
And
his second term, by the way, and everybody knows that. But that's the bottom line. He wasn't even supposed to be president for that second, nightmarish 4 years. That would have changed an awful lot. 8 years of that, 8 years of that kind of deception going on. Oh my goodness, guys. I'll tell you what.
Well, regardless whether people want to see it or not, the truth is, and I was looking at the breakdown numbers on the internet. They can call him racist. They can call him what they want. But the same people that voted for Obama in a lot of these states where Obama won, that Trump won this time, voted for Trump this time, not Hillary. Now, what does that tell you?
Mm-hmm.
That's not, people said, hey, Obama, yeah, okay, Bush has been causing all kinds of crap and wars. Let's give this guy a chance.
Yeah, the
And they
first
put,
time around, he seemed like a nice person, but you
well,
know
they
what?
put him in. It was the white people that brought him all over the top, the same white people that voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not a racial country. Yeah, there are racists in the country,
He's
but there's
incited the
bad and
racism.
good in everything.
That's the saddest part, Jerry. I don't remember it ever being. I've always gotten along with everybody. I don't care what color they are, what they are, what
Right.
sex they are, or
And
anything
me
else.
too. Me
And I
too.
don't understand why all of a sudden this is a big deal because, but I do know it's been escalated in D.C. I do
Because
know
it's a
he's done it.
divider.
Yeah, it is divide and conquer. There's no doubt
You
about that.
cannot conquer a country if you don't divide them. You divide them religiously, you divide them in races, you divide them in how much money they make. They know how to play this game. You know what? Game's over.
It is over,
Game's over.
and they lose. Yep, we're all done with them. We're all the spirit of America here. So that's the bottom line. But
Like my song says, Spirits Rising. I wrote that song before this even happened, and now I'm going to finish it.
yeah, you need to finish that song. You can play it on the show too next time it's
Just need
ready.
to get somebody to sing it, that's all.
Well, I don't think I'd be the one to do that, but I do have a voice, but I don't really sing. I project a lot. As you noticed tonight, I've been ranting a little bit. Not really ranting, just communicating the truth. You know what it is? We've got to do something because it's just like it's so frustrating. It's been a nasty week. It was a great week when Trump won. Obviously, we enjoyed that part. And then the crap that followed with these riots and the propaganda. It's like, do you really have to ruin the beautiful energy that was descending onto the planet when Trump won? Really? You had to ruin my day, didn't you little SOBs? You know what? It makes me angry, Jerry.
Well, there's a lot of people right now that are in shock that just knew that Hillary had it in the bag, and they just I don't think she even wrote a concession speech. I don't think she thought she needed one.
Of course not. Not when everything's corrupt and they're stealing the election. Oh yeah. Even when they're trying to steal though, they still failed. I love it. That's the
But
beauty of
there's
it.
some really, really, I kind of feel bad for them because they put all their eggs in one basket there, and they're gonna feel pretty miserable the next few months or so. But the good part about it, it's when the country and everything starts to turn around and people start to feel good about their lives again, and that there's a future to live.
Hmm.
That they might actually be able to pay the bills or pay for the health care. You got people paying more for health care than they do their house payment.
Well, that's what I was saying. I can't even do it. I mean, seriously, it's disgusting. I could buy a
Right.
Mercedes Benz for the money I've been spending on my health care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when the things start to turn around and the coal miners are getting back to work and these small shops around me here, when they start hiring, these small shops will start, lighting up again and turning their lights on and hiring people. And then the wages start to go up. It's going to be good. It's going to be bumps along the road and everything. But, I'm really excited about the direction we're headed in now. I really am.
Me too. Yeah, I am too.
Because it makes sense. It's just common sense.
Hmm.
You can't have a country if you don't have borders. You don't have some type of control over who comes in and who doesn't, and you don't have a country if you don't have jobs. If you can't build
Exactly.
anything, you got nothing.
No, just he just wants what dumbed down, enslaved weirdos wandering the streets
Yes,
like a
you have to
zombification.
produce something.
Totally. No, I totally agree with you. Good. It's well stated, Jerry. I appreciate you joining me this last hour of the show. It's been great. I have somebody to talk to, and I know the listeners enjoyed what you had to say. So thanks. Thanks for joining me. And I know we're just about out of time here in the Illusion of. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoyed Artie in the first hour. And also, please stay tuned for Shiny Side Out with David Dunger and Becky coming up next to sell you on tonight from Down Under, as they always do with their wonderful show. And Jerry, any final words? We have probably about a minute here, plus or minus. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, back when communism, they're more capitalist than we are right now. But back when communism was a big thing in Russia, take a look at the cars they built. They
Hmm.
were they were pieces of garbage. Nobody wanted to buy them because they couldn't build anything under communism.
Hmm.
Communism can't exist without capitalism first, because sooner or later, where capitalism has growth, it's on growth. Communism, it sucks all that money out, and then once the money's gone, then what do? They got to go back to some form of capitalism to get some more money.
Exactly. That's well
When
stated,
the
too.
money, like Thatcher said it best, yeah, it's great until the money runs out. Then what?
Exactly. And we're out of time here. Jerry, thanks so much for joining me. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and be safe out there and love this country. Be kind to each other. Be kind to animals. You see those jerky rioters out there and they start any trouble, take pictures of them and report them and turn them in. And do whatever you need to do. All right, everybody. Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks,
Until next
Solaris.
time. Okay. Night.